So, good morning, everyone. My name is Mehmet Bilgin, and today's presentation is going to be about your marketing data. And we will try to answer this simple question: is our data lying to us? And spoiler alert, yes, it's definitely lying. But before moving on to all that data and fraud stuff, let me introduce myself. I'm originally from Turkey, work for a national R&D company there, and then I moved to UK. Work for a couple of telecom companies. I'm married with no children. And in the last 5 years, I worked for various edtech-related companies like affiliate, ad network, publisher, advertiser, you name it. And now I'm the CTO of Interceptd. I guess you all noticed this trying to be comment on the screen. I just want to clarify it. It's kind of a personal note from me. You know, it was a couple of years ago, I guess, I remember I did some search on Google. It was something like how to become a CTO. Maybe it's not the most embarrassing thing on my Google search history, but it's not the one I'm most proud of. But I was kind of lost a little bit. But I realized being a startup CTO is just like an evolution. So your job definition changes every day with your team size, with your budget, with the company size. So I miss the days I write code actually. But as a startup CTO, best you could do is to open to this change and improve yourself all the day, and maybe try to be at least a few steps ahead of your company needs at every stage. Anyway, enough of myself and Homer Simpson. I think because we have more serious and important subject, data. So here by data, I mean our user acquisition data, marketing data. You know, the data we collect, measure, and analyze every day. Why do we do that? It is simple because we want to increase our return on investment. So our data is very critical for us. And shouldn't we all feel extremely confident in the accuracy of our data? I'm here to tell you that you can't trust your data. You mustn't trust your data. If you think otherwise, I hope I will change your mind by the end of this presentation. But firstly, let's see how was it 100 years ago. John, I think you all guys are familiar with this saying, you know, half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. He said it because at that time he could only use offline channels, you know, like newspapers, billboards, so there was no way of measuring them. So you may think that it is different now because we have our data, you know, our precious data, we know everything. But I think it is still valid today, but for a different reason. It is fraud. So I think this guy, if he lived today, John, he would have said half the money I spend on advertising is going to fraud. You know, the trouble is we don't know which half. So at the end of the day, maybe John was in a better position than us because at least he knew that he didn't know much. But in our case, we think that we know everything, you know, but it's not completely true. So which brings us to my next subject, what is fraud? I will try to keep it very simple, you know, it's a very simple scenario. I know there are many experienced guys here, but it will apply to anyone. So by fraud, you know, I mean, you know, you have a brilliant idea and a brilliant app. We did this app, by the way. It's a social platform where users can create, share events with their friends, and it failed miserably, but, you know, let's keep it as an example. And then your app is live, and you start waiting for new users. But there aren't enough users, or there are no users, because there are millions of apps in the stores. So you do some research, you talk to a few friends, and you find out that you need to do user acquisition. Fair enough. You go to a couple of networks, start your campaigns, and then go back to your analytics tool, and then you see all these users are engaging with your app, which sounds good, but again, is it? What if I tell you this? I mean, I know it doesn't make much sense or say so too confusing. It's from the book Hobbit, if you know, guys. I'm a big fan of it, so I wanted to use it, but simply, I know it's too complicated, but simply what I'm trying to say is, you know, there are some publishers out there who tries to steal your organic users. What I mean by steal, they try to take credit. And there are some other, and we call it attribution fraud, by the way, and there are some other, you know, publishers who sends fake installs, fake events, fake registrations, fake engagement from non-existing users, from bots or whatever it is. They do not exist at all. I hope it terrifies you as much as it terrifies me. It's really terrifying. So, the main, when they asked me to do this presentation, I thought, what should be the main aim of the presentation? What should be the message? And I thought, we are lacking awareness. That's my idea, at least. So that's why, that's kind of my main objective today, to raise awareness in our community. So let's start with this question. What is it? Do you know the most profitable organized crime in the world? It's not, ad fraud, by the way. It will be too obvious. It's drugs. But if I change the question a little bit, and if I say, do you know the easiest and most risk-free and profitable organized crime? It's definitely ad fraud. And it's really easy. I will show you. And it's almost risk-free. So, like I said, my main objective is to raise awareness, but this is not our first time in an event like this, or we did many talks, we talked to potential customers, we try everything to raise this awareness. But so far, I think it didn't get the impact we wanted. So what we have tried so far, we said, guys, you are losing money. We said that, but it didn't work, so I will not go into detail. So we said, guys, look, all these fraud methods, we explain them to the tiny detail. We talk about them hours and hours. But again, it didn't work. So we talked to many potential customers, and then we gave same response to all their counter-arguments, if you like. So it doesn't matter whether you are a big startup or a, small startup, of course, or big enterprise with your own BI tool, or it doesn't matter, which ad network or agency you are using, or your campaign type doesn't make a difference. If you are doing user acquisition, you are definitely affected by fraud. We did all this stuff to raise awareness, and much more actually, but, our community is kind of very hesitant doing something about it. I thought about it a lot, and unfortunately, I have only one simple explanation for that, a possible explanation. We don't want to face it. Why do I say that? Because I think it was about a month ago, I was in London. I was in a meeting with a potential customer, and he was the CMO of the company. He was quite experienced and knowledgeable guy. And at the end of the meeting, he said to me, Mehmet, I think your best bet to market your product is to go after newly appointed CMOs. I was confused and I asked why, why newly appointed CMOs? Then he said, because you are here to tell me that in the last couple of months, couple of years, whatever, I've been looking at incorrect data, I've been giving wrong decisions, and I've been losing money. It's not easy to accept. So I totally see his point, but that shouldn't stop us from going forward. By the way, it didn't stop him. He's our trial customer now, but it shouldn't stop us as well. So, like I said, I will try to do a kind of a live demo to you guys, fingers crossed. But to do that, first I need to, maybe you guys all know it, but for those who doesn't know how attribution works and what is the weakness of attribution, I need to explain it first. By the way, here I'm not saying that MMPs are not doing something. It's the way they have to work. So once I explain it, it will be more clear, I'm sure. So MMPs are the platforms, basically, that match, we have two entities, click and install. So MMPs are the platforms that matches these two things together. In a nutshell, this is what they do. It's more complicated than that, I know, but this is their main objective. So how do they do that? For every install, they check whether is there a click for the installed device from this specific device, for the installed app, from this specific device. And if there is, this install is attributed to that click, that publisher, that ad network. Simple as that. There is also, anyway, I will come to that later. But how do they match click to install? both of these entities, I mean, these are, click and install, there are some entities and they have some properties. They are not something magical. I mean, they have, some technical, I will not go into detail, but the most important one is the advertising ID. That's the first method MMPs use for attribution. What is advertising ID? Every mobile device has one advertising ID. It can be resettable, by the way, but it's universally unique. So every device has it, iOS devices and Android devices I'm talking about here. And what do they do? If click and install has same advertising ID, that means, this install is attributed to that click. It's just a simple comparison. But there's one very, so far it looks really, easy, simple. So what is the problem here? The problem is publishers, they can send anything with advertising ID, for advertising ID, with the click. So they can send devices advertising ID, anyone else's advertising ID. Also, maybe they can send, even they can send random numbers. They wouldn't do that because they want to earn money. They want that install to be attributed to themselves. They wouldn't do that, but I can put rubbish there, it doesn't matter. And also, click is not something magical, you don't need a user interaction, you don't need an impression. Here, I can write a script in 2 minutes, and I can send thousands of clicks to any campaign or any app you want per second. I can do that. It's that easy. So they are not that something difficult, or you don't need to be a hacker to do that. They are very easy. So that's kind of how MMPs work, and that's the weakness of attribution method, not the MMPs again. So now I will try to show you guys an app that does click spamming in the background. Like I said, we tried many different things. So for this event, we thought maybe, it will be a simple demo, but hopefully you will get what I mean, how, how it is easy to do click spamming. So that's why first I need to show you guys I'm not here to present Interceptd, by the way, but I need to show Interceptd screen to show you the numbers. That's the only reason. Anything else? Yeah. I know it's too risky to do live demo in a presentation, but let's hope it will go all according to plan. So in this demo, we will have two apps. One is Oblast Puzzle, which is a genuine app. It is available in stores. A sister company of us developed it, and they are doing user acquisition currently. And then we created a campaign for them on our dashboard. I have the permission to do that, by the way. Here you can see, there is some campaign, and you can see some click number and install numbers. You don't need to worry about them. But also I have another screen here. This is Oblast app, by the way. And we have another app. Oops, it's already open. Too many guys. Okay, we developed a single app to show you guys. Now I will share my phone screen with you guys. Sorry about that. To work, come on. There it is. There it is. Yeah, that's my screen. I will show you the app right now. There it is. This is a small app we just developed in one day. It's just, and we didn't put it to the store because it's doing click spamming in the background. Actually, I was planning to put it to the store, and I want to make you all install the app and then show you how it works. But we thought that it would not be very ethical to do that, even for demo purposes. So that's why what we did, we wanted a few guys from the audience, a few friends, or some of them are not friends, to install this app on their apps and open it. So now, in this screen, look, this is my cell phone, and I can show you my advertising ID. This is the advert, by the way, if you, I need to click from here, sorry. This is my advertising ID. And if I, again, do this, you can see that, the fake clicks here are happening in the background. You don't see any ads. There is no interaction from me, no impression at all. But this app is sending fake clicks in the background. This is what's happening. And one of the apps it's spamming is Oblast. So now I will go to dash, I will download Oblast and then show you what happens. So let me go back to the Oblast. Okay, to my screen. So what happened? We have all this, like a utility app. It's like a flashlight app. We are using it regularly, and then you don't see anything here, right? So that user, in case it is me, I go to App Store and then download an app. Again, in this case, it's Oblast. So I am this is not my phone, by the way. I'm an Android user. This is iOS. No results. That's why they say don't do demo, I think. Oblast puzzle. No results. I will find it like this. Okay, sorry guys. There it is. So, I think I have time. Okay. Still, I can save the demo. So what happened? We have one utility app, which is doing click spamming in the background. We have one genuine app, which is a game, a hyper-casual game, which is doing user acquisition right now. So I use that utility app, the Interceptd app, and then it doesn't show me any ads or anything. But like I showed you in the background, it keeps sending fake clicks. This number. It's getting increasing. And the best bit is, it's all controlled from the backend servers. So from the backend servers, I can change the app to spam, the campaign to spam or anything. I don't need to create a new version of this spam wrap. So now this Oblast is installed. I need to open it. So I'm an organic user of Oblast. It should be that way, right? But if I go back to Interceptd screen, now, it was one click, one install. I will refresh the screen right now. Look, the numbers, we used to have one click, one install, because just before the presentation, I did one more test to be sure everything working fine. So now we have 11 clicks, 3 installs, 9 clicks for 5 installed Android and iOS for 2 different campaigns. So when you look at these numbers, you may say, look, this is the best ad network, this is the best publisher I have ever seen, right? Because they are your organic users, and the engagement definitely will be good from these users, but they are actually attributed to this ad network, an example ad network we just created. You may think, Mehmet, the conversion rate is unacceptable, 11:3, but we developed this app in 1 day. Just give me one more day, and then I will make it more accurate. Then it will be very difficult for you to, by looking the numbers, to analyze, to find fraud. So in a nutshell, this is what's happening, guys, with this app. I hope I managed to pass, the feeling what's happening here to you guys, but that's kind of my demo. And now I want to go back to my presentation again. And then we will come to the solution now. So we talk about the problem and everything. Let's go back to solution. Up. Sorry, guys. Definitely do not do any demo. I will not do it again. Anyway, definitely. I did it many times, really. Anyway. So, come on. Solution. Sorry, guys, again. There was an awkward silence. Solution. It starts with acceptance. So we should all accept there is fraud, and it's big, and it's affecting everyone. That's the first step we need to take. Then if you want to fight against fraud, you need to build a strong team. I mean, maybe including data engineers, developers, data scientists, you name it. And then, just learning the current fraud methods is not enough. Because fraudsters, they do not stop. They keep finding new ways of doing it. So you good guys, need to keep up with them. So looking at install an event, which will be in the thousands or 10,000s, I don't know in the numbers, will give you some insight about fraud, definitely, but it will not be enough. You need to look at maybe click or even impression, unfortunately. So I'm talking about millions or billions of data points here. And the better you catch fraud is the better. The sooner you catch the fraud, the better. Because if you do this, analysis or whatever you do at the end of the month, it's already too late. Damage is already done. So you should stop it. If you can stop it real time, it's much, much better, definitely. But we want to, acquire more users, right? So we can't simply stop using a channel because there are some, fraudster in it. Because otherwise we can't use any channel, guys. So you need to cherry pick, if you like, good guys from the bad guys. And unfortunately, again, no single analytics tool can be source of truth for you. That's kind of the, that's the truth. So you need to use a couple of analytics tools and cross-check your data between these analytics tools. Maybe if you have your BI tool, you should do that for your BI tool as well. And finding the fraud is not enough sometimes because you need to convince the ad network about the fraud. You can't simply say, no, I'm not going to pay for it, or I don't want any traffic from this publisher because it's doing fraud. You need to give some evidence to these guys, and it's not easy again. Last but not least, guys, we shouldn't waste any time, because we are losing money, but more importantly, like I said, money is important, but, for me, the critical thing is we are looking incorrect data and we are giving wrong decisions. So I think it sounds quite difficult and complicated, but there is another easier way, There are many fraud prevention tools out there. MMPs, I don't know, is there anyone from the Adjust team here, but they have their own solution as well. And everyone says, our fraud prevention tool is the best one, That I will say as well, Interceptd is the best one, but they don't take my word for it, but they don't take their word as well. You can do head-to-head tests, anyone will do that. This is what we are doing every day. We do head-to-head tests with different fraud prevention tools, including MMPs. So do that and then see which is better and then start using it. But to me, Interceptd, like I said, Interceptd is the best one. And it does all the stuff I already mentioned, and it does much more than that. So if you have any questions, I have a few colleagues here. If you want to learn more about Interceptd, please find us. We are just outside the door here. So conclusion slide. I've never seen anyone use conclusion slides, I think, anyway. So conclusion, to sum up, guys, ad fraud is real, and we should all accept it. And we shouldn't waste any time. We should act now. Maybe we can't solve world's drug problem, right? But we have the power to solve this ad fraud problem. And it is almost big as drug problem. And finally, solve ad problem and then gain confidence back in your marketing data. And that's all. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. No? Yep.
How would you compare the cost of actually preventing ad fraud versus the money that's being lost in ad fraud? Do you have any numbers?
I have numbers. We have one customer. On our dashboard we show you estimated saving. So you see how much you save using Interceptd. Actually, I can't give you that number right now. But if you come to after the presentation, I can show you that customer's dashboard, and then you will see how much they saved. And then I will share you also how much they are paying to us, and then you will be surprised. Any other questions? So yeah, thank you guys then for listening to me.